The Washington Nationals dropped the series against the Chicago Cubs, and unfortunately for the Washington Nationals, they had some sloppy play that costed them the series.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, I am your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. And of course, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcast, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, and of course, the video version over on YouTube. Again, just look up Locked On Nationals, and that is where you'll find your daily coverage of the Washington Nationals. And yes, we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every single day. Later on in today's program, Patrick Corbin, the former Washington National and the former clubhouse leader, World Series champion, World Series hero, Game 7 winner in 2019, Patrick Corbin returns to DC. And I don't know if people know, but he has had a renaissance season, so we're going to kind of sprinkle in some nuggets on Patrick Corbin as this episode goes on because he's been really good this year, and good for him. Good for Patrick Corbin. We'll talk about that a lot later on in today's program and kind of the renaissance year that he is having, which I love to see personally. But in the second segment, it's a Friday. It's a Nats Prospect Stock Report Friday. This was one of those weeks where it was tough to pick stock ups. Not because there was no stock ups. It's because there was a lot of guys. And there are three intriguing names that you're going to want to hear about. And one of them will be in the majors pretty soon. So we'll have that discussion in the second segment. When we start off discussing the Nats-Cubs series, is the Washington Nationals, they played sloppy baseball. And when you play sloppy baseball, you get sloppy results. So today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. And right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Just head to FanDuel.com. So as we get into today's show, heading into this series against the Cubs, I said that this was going to be kind of just like the determining factor of how good this Nationals team is. This series just kind of gives a temperature check for where the Nationals are in this rebuild. Because right here today, you could make a case for the Washington Nationals to be a wild card team. You could also make the case for the Washington Nationals to be still rebuilding and still trying to get their feet under them at this point. This series determined to me that the Nationals, they're good, but they still have flaws and they still have to go through this rebuild and go through this process. Hear me out for just a second. When it comes to young teams, there are going to be a lot of mistakes and a lot of frustrating growing pains that we have seen over the years. And right now, I think this series and what we saw, the defensive miscues, the running into outs on the bases, which the Nationals have done, by the way, many times this season. Can we just kind of single out the running errors so far this season? Earlier on this season, or in this series rather, with Nasim Nunez, running into an out at second base, getting picked off in that game early on. Those are the kind of mistakes that are, in my opinion, inexcusable and just flat out dumb. And then again, we see it in yesterday's contest yet again. These defensive miscues and these running errors on the base pass are just something that number one, just get in general. Number two, it's just inexcusable at this point. So while it is frustrating, and while the Nationals had plenty of opportunities, and they've had some defensive mistakes, it still feels as if the Nationals are close. And while the Nats in yesterday's game, they got dominated. They got road run by the Chicago Cubs. They're a better team. They're a loaded lineup. You have guys like Ian Happ taking bombs out into the outfield seats there. Pete Crow Armstrong, his 16th home run of the season in the first inning to make it 2-0 Chicago. Then after the second inning, Jake Irvin settled in and overall through 5 innings pitch. But yesterday just kind of showed us, and really this series overall, the Nats are going to have some growing pains. And we're in the thick of it. And that's okay. Because if you look at this offense has actually been really good. In fact, I saw yesterday that this Nats offense, with runners in scoring position, they have the 3rd highest batting average in all of baseball entering yesterday's game. This Nats team does have a little bit of a clutch gene. It's kind of that scrappy Nats attitude that comes out in those situations. And they've been good. But one focal point for this offense has been James Wood. James Wood was your unlucky guy this past series. James Wood had 2 balls yesterday that were over 100 miles per hour exit velo to the warning track that were unfortunately caught for outs. He went 0 for 4 yesterday. When you have James Wood, the star of this show, the star of this lineup, not getting on base, not hitting for power, that's when the Nationals end up with only 1 run. And that 1 run came in the 9th inning thanks to Luis Garcia Jr. But the Nationals also had opportunities. C.J. Abrams, 7th inning, bases loaded, gets out. A lot of growing errors happened this series, in my opinion. Number one, it humbled me a little bit because I was amped up going into the series. The Nationals were coming into this thing. They were 28-31. If you sweep the Cubs, you're at 500. If you win 2 games, then you're only 1 game below 500 at that point, or whatever it would be. Do the math yourself. I'm bad at it. The Nats have had opportunities. They did not take care of it. That's part of the growing pains. So overall, this series against the Cubs, it sucked. It was a little bit of a slap in the face because they did have opportunities to take this series. They looked great in game 2. They didn't look too good in game 1 of the series, but still missed opportunities in this postseason, or not in this postseason, in this season. It's going to cost you. And in order to kind of get over that hump, you're going to have to win a series like against the Chicago Cubs when you're playing really good teams in big atmospheres, in beautiful weather, by the way. The Nats just did not take care of that today and really the last few games. So unfortunately for us, dropped the series, but now you play against the Texas Rangers, Nathaniel Lowe's former team. They traded him away this offseason and said, we're going to be good without your services. Watch him tonight in tonight's contest. But also, it's not just him going up against his former team. It's Patrick Corbin. And I must say, Patrick Corbin, he has been incredible. We're going to talk about his renaissance real quick. I do want to hit on this because I think this is a big storyline. Patrick Corbin better get a standing ovation. Not only a standing ovation, Patrick Corbin should have a tribute video. There should be a round of applause so loud that he's got to step off the mound tonight and tip his cap to the fans. Patrick Corbin is a Nationals legend. Forget what he did from 2020 all the way through 2024. We all know the numbers. We know the statistics. He was the worst starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. But as the season has gone on with the Rangers, I think Patrick Corbin may have had some issues with this team. Not saying that like any internal issues. Patrick Corbin was a pro's pro, the leader in the clubhouse. But the problems he had, maybe some of it was on him. But also considering what he's been doing for the Rangers this season, kind of looks like a Nationals problem. And they just could not tap into whatever he was doing post-2019. And that's kind of what led to his downfall. But so far this season with the Rangers, he has been incredible for them. So as we kind of go on to this game tonight, it's a Friday night. Natasha Bedingfield is in town. I'll be at the game watching Natasha Bedingfield. I know that one song, A Pocket Full of Sunshine, pretty good song. I'll be there tonight. But Patrick Corbin, man, Nationals legend. If you're there in tonight's ball game, you better give him a standing ovation. No one should boo this guy. He is a Nats legend. Someday he's going to come back in town. He's going to be honored, as he should be. This guy won you a World Series. He was a game changer in the 2019 World Series run. Game 7 of the World Series, coming out of the bullpen, something he did not do very often in the postseason. Came in there, shut the door down against the Houston Astros on the road, and got the win. This guy is a Nats legend because of that. So you better give him a standing ovation. He deserves it. I don't care what happened from 2020 to 2024. That's in the past. Also, the World Series in the past, but still, you don't win that World Series without Patrick Corbin. So we'll discuss more about his Renaissance season and what has kind of gone into it and why he has gotten so good this year later on in the show today. But let's get into a Nats prospect stock report, whose stock is up and whose stock is down. We'll get into that after we tell you guys about some of our very good friends over at Trade Coffee. And of course, let's be real. Coffee is not just a drink. It's a ritual, a lifeline, and things that gets you from half asleep to fully functioning. And it's that essential. Why settle for anything else than amazing? That's where Trade Coffee comes in. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the U.S., delivering fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Whether you're a cold brew fan or a pour-over purist, they've got a roast that you'll love. And I took Trade's quiz, and it only took 1 minute. And the first bag they sent me was spot on. It was a French dark roast, and I love my dark roast coffee. I like to taste those rich flavors. It's got that hint of a chocolate flavor. In fact, I've got it right here, right now. I'll take a sip of it. So good. I love Trade Coffee. And of course, their quiz helped me figure out exactly what I want, what works for me, and just what works for you, because the taste and the smell of coffee, that's half the battle, and they have got that covered. So right now, Trade is exclusively offering our customer 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. That's TRADE.com/lockedonmlb for 50% off your 1-month trial. Again, that is drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. And now we jump back into it with a Nats prospect stock report. Whose stock is up and whose stock is down? We start off with 2021 first-round pick, Brady House. Brady House, any day for the major leagues. I mean it, any day. I expect it's going to happen within the next week or two. I believe I had a date in mind like June 16th, and the kid is ready. Over his last 7 games, he's got 3 home runs, 3 doubles. Yesterday, he had a 3-hit ball game yesterday. 4 walks and 3 strikeouts. In this time frame, he's batting .400, and also he has got 12 home runs on the year, batting nearly .300 on the season. Call him up. Not tomorrow, not today, but yesterday. The kid is ready. He's 22 years old. He's still very young. And the Nationals, they need some right-handed power bats, as we saw this series. You saw them try to stock up on right-handed pitching, or on right-handed hitters this series, and we don't really have many right-handed power bats at this point in time. Brady House would be a huge plus in that department, and we need that at this point in time. You need a right-handed power bat if only you have some kid who's 6'2", has crazy raw power, can hit it all directions in the field, and is batting an elite rate right now and playing good, solid third base. You need that. Brady House can provide that. So call him up. 3 home runs, 3 doubles over his last 7. He is slugging at an elite rate over the course of this season in AAA, and he's ready. Call him up. Brady House. Stock up for the kid. Stock down from another former third baseman, or still a third baseman down in AAA, Trey Lipscomb. Trey Lipscomb is a stud defensively. You can play him at third base, you can play him at second, you can play him at short, and he can also play the outfield, and he is an above-average elite defender, I might say. An elite utility guy down the line, but I will say as well. But he is not getting it done offensively. So far this season, he has more strikeouts than he does hits on the year. And while that is a little common for guys who have that power stroke, Trey Lipscomb is not that power guy. He's not going up there at plate envisioning a home run. That's not the way that he plays. He is a put the ball in play kind of guy. And so when I see more strikeouts than hits, it's a little alarming. And Lipscomb played some good baseball, even in just the 3 games this past year for the Nats. But also last season, when he was playing a decent amount and when he was up in the bigs, Trey Lipscomb looked the part. But right now, for whatever reason, he seems to be a lost cause at this point. He seems lost at the plate. And I've heard some people in Rochester saying that his exit velos are down. He's not really putting the ball in play that consistently. And as we have seen, that's what the numbers are indicating at this point. So stock down for Trey Lipscomb. He's still a stud defensively, but he's got to start getting it done offensively to make that jump up to the bigs, because this guy does have the potential to be an everyday utility guy for this team. And that's going to be of value to really just any team out there, not just the Nationals, but any player. You need that utility guy who can put around anywhere in the diamond and play great defense, but also have some plus offensive ability. And right now, Trey Lipscomb is not getting it done offensively. So a stock down for Trey Lipscomb, the kid out of Tennessee. Stock up, not so much a kid, 26-year-old Andres Chaparro. He was someone that the Nationals got in the Dylan Floro trade last year at the deadline, and I was looking at it, I'm like, Dylan Floro was good for the Nats last year. And we didn't even get a top 30 prospect from the Arizona Diamondbacks, who does not have an elite system, by the way. They're pretty top heavy at that time, they were at least. But you didn't even get a top 30 prospect. What's going on? And then I look at his numbers, and I'm like, okay, well, this guy's 25. He can hit the you-know-what out of the baseball. He's got crazy power numbers. He has had that for years now down to the minors. And, well, came up last year, looked pretty good in the bigs, had some pop early on in his stint here in D.C., and he has picked that right off where he left off in AAA this season. He is batting .295 with a .404 OBP, a .568 slug, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, 3 doubles in 12 games, and he just turned 26. It's one of those tricky things where you don't really know where he fits, because Nathaniel Lowe is your everyday third baseman or first baseman. Brady House is shortly going to be your everyday third baseman. Josh Bell at this point, he's going to be your DH. So where does Chaparro fit? He's not a good defender by any means right now, so you can't really pluck anyone out of this lineup. But at some point, we're going to have to take another look at this guy. The way that he hits in AAA and the way that he has hit throughout his career down in the minors, even what we saw this past season with the Nationals, this guy has got the ability to hit not only in the minor league level, but up in the major league level. The exit velos are out of this world. He hits the you-know-what out of the baseball. Andres Chaparro is such an interesting guy, an interesting player that I think a lot of prospect nerds like myself out there look at this guy and say, how is he not in the bigs, number one? And number two, how is he not discussed more? Because he puts up the high exit velos, he's got the power, and he's got the numbers to back all those things up, but no one talks about him. And in the Diamondback system, no one talked about him there also. So Mike Rizzo, when he made that trade, they had an eye on this guy. Not getting a top 30 prospect in an organization for Dylan Floro was pretty jarring. But again, once I saw his numbers and what he did over the course of the past 3 seasons with the D-backs and the minors, I thought to myself, well, they know something. And then we saw it last year, and now we're seeing it again. He's rehabbing right now from injury where he started off in the IL. So yeah, he's going to have some time before the Nationals can make a call whether to keep him in AAA and then bump him up to the majors. But Chaparro's going to be in the bigs at some point, and he's going to be impressive. He has got the numbers to back up to be a potential really good hitter at the big league level. So stock up for Andres Chaparro. Don't really get to talk about him too much, but this guy's a player. Stock down for Jackson Kent. Nats 4th-round pick, left-handed pitcher from the University of Arizona. His first 4 starts, I was telling you guys, like, watch out for this guy. Don't know all too much about him. I'm not a big college baseball head. Put up good numbers in Arizona, has got good stuff, and he was awesome in Wilmington. Well, over his last 6 starts, he has gotten whacked around. 27 earned runs, a 315 batting average against, 8 home runs, and 39 hits. What I can't get over is the 8 home runs in 6 starts and 27 earned runs over his last 6. Wilmington is a pitcher-friendly park, too. Something has gone wrong, unfortunately, for Jackson Kent. I'm not saying he's hurt. No one is saying that. But, man, 27 earned runs over your last 6 starts. Do the math real quick. That's 6, 12, 18, 24. That's nearly 4 runs, 4.5 runs, really, per his last few starts. And when you're in the minors, you're not going deep into ball games the way that we saw him going earlier on this year in Wilmington. He's had like 3-inning, 4-inning, 5-inning outings tops over his last 6, and he has just been getting whacked around. So stock down for Jackson Kent, unfortunately, for him, has not been the best stretch for the 2024 4th-round pick at the University of Arizona. Stock up, 2nd-round pick, last year's draft, Luke Dickerson. 2 home runs in his first 20 games at the Fredericksburg level, 19 hits, 13 walks, 19 strikeouts, and an 823 OPS. This is a kid that I think a lot of people should be recognizing like today. He is going to be a top 3 prospect in this organization. In my opinion, he's already up there. I think it goes, well, let me rephrase that. He's easily a top 4 prospect. I've got Travis Zakora, Brady House number 2, Harleen Susanna number 3, and then I've got Luke Dickerson in the top 5. He is a legit prospect that is going to get better. He tied Mike Trout's high school record in New Jersey for home runs hit in a single season. The kid's got power. He's that multi-tool athlete, and I saw Eric Bach, head play-by-play man for the Fredericksburg Nats, do his outfield walk. I don't know what the segment is called off the top of my dome, but if you look at Luke Dickerson, this guy is jacked. He is in crazy good shape, and he's still a teenager. This is a very good prospect, but has a ton of upside. And if I'm the Nationals, I'm putting a lot of resources into developing that kid because you sign him to a record-breaking above-slot bonus. You should be able to develop this guy. He has got the talent. He was a first-round talent in last year's draft. He could have easily gone in the late 20s there, but he did not. He fell to the Nationals in the 2nd round, and they jumped all over him, and that's a smart thing to do. So stock up for Luke Dickerson. This guy, he is real. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Patrick Corbin makes his return tonight. Let's jump into his Renaissance season after we tell you about our friends at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances and major momentum shifts and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action than now. And just real quick, I called the Pacers win yesterday, and it makes it so much better when you can watch the game in action, watch Tyrese Halliburton do his thing while betting on the action with our friends at FanDuel. I put $5 on the Pacers money line, and of course, lo and behold, Tyrese Halliburton with 0.3 seconds left nails that 2-point shot. And yes, I saw you YouTube commenter. You said, you're crazy for having the Pacers winning. Well, I won my money, and it made it that much better, and now I can share it with you guys. And even if you don't think the Pacers are going to win, maybe you can take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP of the NBA in this year, have him over on the points in Game 2 for tomorrow's action. Maybe you think that Pascal Siakam maybe goes over on the rebounds and has a double-double. You can have that action over on FanDuel and make the game more fun to watch. It's almost as like you are there at the game because right on your phone, a couple clicks away, you can make that bet and you can check FanDuel as well all game long to make games live betting. Make it better for yourself. So new to FanDuel, it's a perfect time to sign up and head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. And if it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets, and you can make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Patrick Corbin returns tonight, and check out these numbers on the season for Patrick Corbin. Just to kind of give you a hint, last year for the Nationals, in 32 starts, he had a 5.62 ERA. His first 10 starts on the season for the Texas Rangers, he's got a 3.71 ERA in 10 starts again, 53 and a third innings pitched, 49 hits given up, 22 earned runs, 9 home runs, which is pretty typical for Patrick Corbin. We know how this guy is. 41 strikeouts to 18 walks. He's got a 1.26 whip. Last year, he had a 1.5 whip. And in a few years ago, back in 2022, he had a 1.70 whip for the Washington Nationals. Good for Patrick Corbin, man. And over his last couple of starts, I mean, he literally has not had a bad start yet. Like, it has not been bad whatsoever for him. He is going 5+ innings pitched. He's given up 2 3 earned runs, and he has just been a quality pitcher for the Rangers. This is one of the most stunning things in 2025 because everyone thought Patrick Corbin was washed. He waited all the way until the season started to sign with a team, and he got a rotation job and signed a major league deal. I remember that happening. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. But now he's dominating again. And he's only 35 years old. You would think that he's like 38, 39. No, this guy does have some innings left in his arm. And he is pitching really well for the Texas Rangers. Good for Patrick Corbin, man. I'm not going to blame the Nationals and be like, why'd you let this guy leave? It was not going to work here. We all knew that. It was time to move on. And in some cases, guys are better off the change of scenery. And I think this is the exact scenario of that. Patrick Corbin has been awesome in 2025. Good for him. He is a great guy, a great clubhouse leader, and he's a World Series champ for the Washington Nationals. Love Patrick Corbin. I'm glad to have him back in town. Hopefully he gets a big ovation. Hopefully he comes into town and pitches a nice quality start. I'm sure that's going to feel good for him. But it's also not the only revenge game in the revenge series happening tonight. You've got Nathaniel Lowe going up against his former team. They traded him in the offseason. He won a World Series with them. He's won a Silver Slugger, won a Gold Glove, and they said, we're okay. We're going to get Robert Garcia for you, Nathaniel Lowe. Watch out for him tonight because the Nationals, they've got Michael Soroka on the bump going up against Patrick Corbin. Kind of a weird pitching matchup because Michael Soroka was an all-star for the Braves back in the day. He's now with the Nationals. Patrick Corbin was a World Series champion in D.C. He's coming to town pitching against us. One of those two big-name guys who have unfortunately not been too relevant the past few seasons, but they're both on different teams now, and they're going to be meeting here at Nationals Park, which should be a pretty good show, to say the least. But with Nathaniel Lowe tonight, go to our friends at FanDuel. Get a little home run bet in there. I bet Nathaniel Lowe is going to have a thing or two to say against those Texas Rangers because he has not been the hottest hitter as of recent. But, you know, having that motivation of your former team here in town with the Nationals, they're riding this hot streak. It's going to be a pretty big series for him. I think it's going to be a pretty big series for this Washington Nationals team as well. But you have this team 29-34 for the Texas Rangers, and the Nationals are at 29-33. The Rangers have got some talent, but they have certainly underperformed each of the last two seasons. So we'll see if the Rangers can get back on track or if it's going to be the Washington Nationals. But until then, you guys enjoy this series over the weekend. I'll talk to you again on Monday, right after maybe the Nationals sweep the Rangers. That's what I have. I'll catch you on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.